This week we're going to talk about owner trainings, and I'm not gonna like demo a specific owner training. I'm instead going to try to help y'all build a plan so whenever you run across the owner training part at the end of the job, that you're prepared. You know what you need to communicate, what kind of knowledge you need to have ahead of time, and how to kind of have all your ducks in a row. So I'll start with the very first steps on a job site. Now, to clarify, this isn't the first steps on a job site like the first day you're given the job. This is the first steps on a site the day of the training. So you've probably already had your fire marshal, done all your acceptance testing, the panel's up and running. This is the first step on the site the day the owners are walking on, that you're teaching the owners how to run the fire alarm system. The very first point, you see I've got it bold and underlined: be presentable. During this process, you are the face of Pyrotechs. So if you show up and you're looking super ragged and you've got your construction shirt on that's full of holes or covered in putty or something crazy like that, they're going to look at that and be like, man, this doesn't look super professional. This doesn't look like the kind of company that I want walking into my building once all my people are here. Be presentable, look good. Then the next thing, when you get there, check in with the general contractor or with the electrician if we're working for the electricians. Or if you see the owner's representative, go introduce yourself. Hey, I'm Keith with Pyrotech Systems. I'm your fire alarm contractor. I just want to let you know that I'm here and we're ready to do the owner training whenever y'all are. Another thing is we need to make sure anytime we go on any job site, once we're turning it over to the customer, we don't need to just assume we can put it in test. Even if we're monitoring it, we need to get permission from the owner. It's their building, it's their fire alarm system. So we need to communicate with them to make sure it's in test, to make sure they're okay with us putting it in test. Because some building owners, building managers, they want to be the only people to put it in and out of test. Freeway Properties is a big service customer of ours, and they don't want anyone except their guy putting it in test, and they'll freak out if we do it ourselves, even though we do the monitoring and so we're capable of it. They don't want us to. They want to do it. Also, before the training starts, just some other things to kind of hit and make sure your ducks are in a row. Verify the panel has the proper tags on it, your inspection tag, your new install tag. Make sure all that's correctly labeled, filled out. Make sure there's spare keys available for the panel, because the customer is not going to be like us where we might have 200 different Gamewell keys or 200 different Silent Night keys. They might not have any. We need to make sure they're able to get into their panels, make sure there's keys available. Also, before the owner training, start asking around. Ask if we have attic stock for the job. Owner trainings are a great time to deliver attic stock, because everyone that needs to sign the attic stock transmittal so that we can get our final paychecks from the customer, everyone is there so we can get it delivered. Everyone knows it's delivered, and then Pyrotechs gets paid. Also, this is a great time to turn in as-built if you've got like a document box, which most jobs should be getting document boxes. Having as-built in there, making sure the customer knows that the as-built are in there. I don't need a hard copy of as-built here at the office, but if you can take your phone and get like a scan to PDF app on your phone where it uses your camera, and you just kind of take a picture and it turns it into a PDF and you email that to me, that's all I need as far as as-builts go. And then the actual as-builts for the job can go in that document box. So those are some of the first steps about getting ready for your owner training. And then when you do start your training, one of the first things you'll want to do is you're obviously teaching them not just about the fire alarm you put in, but you're going to have to explain the fire alarm itself to them. And the very first basic thing an end user needs to know is the 3 types of signals. We've gone over this a couple times, so I don't want to beat it to death too bad, because it's pretty simple. There's the alarm, the trouble, and the supervisory. And so you'll just need to explain what those 3 types of signals are, what they do, what their purposes are, and what it means for the customer. Then the other thing they'll want to know is they will want to know the specific panel operations. So that first thing I have on there is called a frame and post document. Every time you get the manual for the fire alarm panel, that's, it tells you everything about how to mount the box, how to wire up all the terminals and everything. There's a section in there called operation and maintenance. Inside that operation and maintenance, there's a frame and post card. It has a little perforated or dotted line edge where you can cut it out. And the purpose of that page is to be able to be framed and posted beside the fire alarm panel, and it's just a quick card that walks you through how to do all these other actions. So you can read the display, read the descriptions, find the addresses, all that. It shows you how to silence, how to reset. If it's a voice system, it shows you how to page. It might also show you how to like get to the event history. That's what the frame and post document is. It shows us all these other things. Even if you don't frame and post it on that job site, not all the customers, if they've got the panel in their front lobby, they might not want all these different weird little pages framed and posted right around it. But that's a good thing to put in the document cabinet or to give to them. It's also a really good thing to just kind of look over and familiarize yourself with, to make sure you're familiar with how to run the panel. And when you're going over panel operation, you'll basically just read through that card. So even if you get nervous or you're not quite sure what to say, you can have that card there and read over it. Then after you've kind of shown them how to operate the panel, get a little bit more specifics about the alarms. So you've probably already told them that the alarm is the one that turns on the horns and strobes, evacuates the building, calls the fire department. When you talk more about the alarms, you can show them where the alarm LED is on the panel. Be like, hey, this one lights up red. That's how you'll know real quickly that it's an alarm. And you can also tell them what type of devices in the building go into alarm. Your smoke detectors, pull stations, the water flows, kitchen hoods. Try to be specific to the building you're in. So, don't be like, oh yeah, your elevator lobbies, but it's a single story building. They don't need to know about elevator lobbies if they don't have one. Or if they don't have a kitchen hood, they don't need to know about kitchen hoods, et cetera, et cetera. Another thing that's really, really important, never ever tell them to go investigate if an alarm is real. They need to treat all alarms as if they're real. Pyrotechs does not create evacuation plans for buildings. We don't do all that kind of things. They work with the fire marshal, and in our closeout documents that I send in after a job is done, I give them a link to the OSHA website, where the OSHA website gives them information how to establish an evacuation plan. But we don't do that ourselves. So we never tell them, oh yeah, go investigate if it's real. Go check out what the alarm is to see if you need to evacuate. No, they need to evacuate every time. And I have a story that I've always told where there was this school principal, and he was working in his school, and every single day the panel would go into a false alarm, and they never called to get it fixed or anything like that. He just jumped up and silenced it as quick as possible every single day. Like, he knew what time it was about to happen, and he just jumped up and hit the silence button without looking or caring. And then one day, and by the way, this is a real story, but one day the electrical room actually had an electrical fire in it, and the fire alarm system detected it and went into alarm, but he was so used to that false alarm because it hadn't been properly maintained that he didn't read the panel. He just went by habit and hit that silence button as fast as possible, and they went about their day, and that fire continued to grow and spread, and then they had like panic and had to evacuate. Luckily in that case, nobody actually got hurt. They were able to get everyone out of the school safely. But it's a good example of why we need to treat all alarms as if they're real. And I know Colin has a separate story about a hotel where there's a security guard that just started like unplugging stuff and disconnecting wires instead of going and evacuating the building. He said, no, it's a false alarm, and just started unplugging stuff, and people actually died because there was a real fire. If you like that story more than the school one, and you want a story like that to tell during the owner training, I'll let you ask Colin about it so you can get it from a better source than I, because I don't know that story that well. Also, oftentimes owners want to see these different signals demonstrated so they know what they look like on the panel. So the first thing is make sure you're on test. And this is a good point to show them how to work the monitoring. Because a lot of times if it's a school or something, they might not know how to call in and put it on test. This is this is a point where you can work through that, and I'll talk about it more in a minute when we get to monitoring. But once it's on test, one of the easiest ways to show them an alarm, there should be a pull station nearby, either a test pull directly at the panel, or the panel will be in a lobby and there will be an exit from the lobby and there will be a pull station at that exit. And then you can also show them the steps of what it takes to reset a pull station, because if a pull station's an alarm and they just hit silence and reset, it's going to go right back into alarm. But they don't necessarily know that. That's common sense for us, but not for the end user. So you can show them, hey, when it's a pull station, this is how you reset it, and then you can reset it at the panel, and it won't go back into alarm. Then you can talk about trouble signals, and you can tell them, okay, the type of things that are going to give you troubles in your system, your alarms, your control panels, your individual field devices, that sort of thing. And then you can demonstrate it by just reaching in the panel that you're at, giving them the demonstration, and just unplug that battery while you're talking about it, and they'll see the trouble come in. They'll get to hear the tone. They'll see what the display says, and you can be like, this is what a typical trouble looks like. And you can go over a few other things that cause troubles. You know, you got the batteries, you got the devices. You can talk about DACT faults a little bit if you wanted to. You don't need to spend a whole lot of time on troubles. And then supervisories is another real quick one. Again, review what type of devices are in their building. So if they have duct detectors, tell them the duct detectors do it. Sprinkler equipment, and it's not a huge list, so you can get through it pretty quickly. If they want to see a demonstration, you might have someone hanging out over by the sprinkler equipment that you can call them on the phone or the radio and be like, hey, turn that valve real quick. And then they'll see that supervisory signal. And so that's real easy. It should only take a few minutes to get through those 3 signals. And then you can talk about monitoring. Before you start, I could have put this on that first steps page, I guess. Make sure you have the phone number to the monitoring station, whether we're monitoring it or someone else is. Try to have the account number and password ready. Don't give them your technician password. Give them the account password. That's their password. Typically, by default, it's just the last 4 of the account number. But, you know, call the monitoring ahead of time to verify that that's what it is. And then, like I said, before you demonstrate that alarm, that would be a good point where you can have the end user, if maybe it's a maintenance guy or just the owner's representative or, you know, facilities manager, whatever, have them call the monitoring station to be the ones that put it on test during the training. I found that they like doing that a lot because they feel like they have someone there beside them to hold their hand. That someone being you giving the training. And then they call, and everything should go according to plan because you have the right phone number, you have the right account number, and you have the right password. And then they get to see what it takes to put it on test. You might also explain to them a little bit about how the monitoring works. It goes to the call station, they get the points, and then they call us. You can explain a little bit of that there too. And then you can also tell them kind of the locations of some of their control equipment. Have it marked up on your as-builts. You might show them in person where the power supplies are. If you've got transponders, like it's a big network system, where they might have some remote amplifiers through the building. If you have, like, say there's a high rise and you've got a certain room where there's a large junction box kind of thing, make sure they know that that's going to be a key service point. And if you have anywhere that wires leave the building, anytime wires leave the building, we have to have surge protectors. And if wires leave the building, those surge protectors will get hit by lightning. It's not an if, they're not there just in case. They will get hit by lightning. They will have to be replaced. You're going to make everybody's life easier if just everyone knows where those surge protectors are. So, just show them kind of those key things. You don't need to walk them around and be like, and there's a pull station, and there's a smoke detector, and there's a pull station. No one needs to see all that. Just show them kind of the key things that they might not be able to walk around and see that are obvious and in your face. And then you'll also need to talk to them a little bit about kind of the inspections and maintenance. One of the things I always liked to do, and I talked to Colin today before I did this video to make sure he still wants this, I would always give Colin's contact to everyone there because he is our service manager. So anything that happens from the moment that building gets turned over to the customer, it runs through Colin, whether it's an inspection or they need service or whatever. And so it gets them directly in touch with him. I would always let Colin know, like, hey, I'm doing an owner training on this property, just to kind of help him know that, hey, this job is turning over. I liked to have a stack of Colin's business cards in my truck. So when I went to these owner trainings, I would leave one sitting on top of the batteries in the main panel. So if they lost the card or the contact, it was still there. And I'd also give one to whoever the owner's representative was. A few other things that you can see here. I guess now I'm working from the bottom up here. Batteries are recommended by the battery manufacturer to be replaced every 3 to 5 years. When we're doing the service and inspections on a place, Colin automatically replaces them at 4 years. It helps the customers because now they're not getting midnight phone calls for intermittent troubles because the battery is starting to go bad. It also ensures that, you know, if they do lose power, they've got good batteries in there, so they will have the right battery backup. We also recommend that they call for their very first inspection, call us at 11 months instead of 12 months, because their labor warranty expires at 12 months. And if there's any issues in that first year, that should be covered by warranty. So if they call us at 11 months, we go and we do the inspection and the test, and if there is an issue, we catch it for them. And then they like that and they want to sign up for our inspections more often. And so then after that first one, it's just every 12 months, but that first one, do it 11 months instead of 12. And I guess that first point's obvious at this point. Make sure they know that they have to have an annual inspection. Those 2 points kind of go together. And I think this really ties in with the last couple of things we've talked about with product knowledge and sequence of operations. You got to know the ins and the outs of how the fire alarm panel works. You got to know how to work that specific panel. You don't necessarily have to know how to program it or every little detail about it, but you got to know how to operate it. So yeah, that's kind of all I got for this one. It's not super huge, super complicated thing to do. It's just explaining to them, hey, this is your fire alarm system, and this is the basics of how it works. You're not turning them into a fire alarm tech. You're just showing them, hey, here's the parts of the operation that are intended for you to work. And when it goes beyond this or any of this doesn't work right, that's when you call us to come service it. So if y'all have any questions or things like that you want me to answer, maybe about owner trainings or about how to get some of the product knowledge or some of the documentation, I'd be happy to take those questions now. Also, I'll send a sign-in sheet for owner trainings. We need to try to start having record of when you do a training, you know, get everyone that's present to sign up for it and then send that in to me so I can put that with our closeout paperwork so that we can show our customers, hey, look, we have proof we did it. But yeah, I'll shut up now and let y'all ask questions if y'all have any.
Hey, Keith. Go ahead.
I had 2 questions. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Ram.
No, go ahead. You might answer my question.
Well, no, I didn't really have a question. I was just going to make a comment. Make sure you put labels on your batteries of the date when you install those. Too many times we get up.
Yeah, that was a good one. My question would be, as far as the cards, the business cards with Colin's name on it, will we be able to get a couple of
Somebody
those?
needs some.
I'm sorry, Colin. I think your audio's cutting in and out. So I'm just in case if someone else didn't hear all of it. If we need cards, we can get with Colin, and Colin can give a stack to Terrence, and Terrence, as he goes around, can pass them out as needed. We can definitely get those out to everyone who needs them.
All right, that's fine. And as far as the little document box slot, you were talking about the cards and how to operate the panel. Is that the paper that you're talking about? Do we make that up, or is it one already on file or something that we can actually put in there to tell them how to run the panel?
Oh, you're talking about that frame and postcard?
Correct.
Yeah, Honeywell actually makes that for every panel. So that's already in the manual. You know, when the panel comes in the box and it's all pre-assembled and all that, and there's that big paper manual that comes with it, and you know, different panels are different sizes or whatever. But it's in that manual somewhere. A lot of times it might be the last page or in like the last section of the book.
Yeah, so that means we need to start looking at the book more.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Colin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, can you get some stickers made that we can actually put in these panels?
You know, we talked about doing that. At one time we did do it, but the stickers wouldn't adhere to anything. So let's see if we can find something that has a little bit more stick 'em on it.
Yeah, I'm just afraid these cards are just going to get lost. It's going to be a nightmare trying to do that.
Well, I found out that it's also helpful too when we put our stickers on, just say like the service sticker and installation sticker and this and that. If you scratch the panel with a piece of sandpaper or something to kind of get that first little coat off, it pretty much stays there.
Yeah, I've actually seen that too, and that works that gets it on there where it lasts for a long time. One note though, if people are going to be getting sandpaper and taking it to our panels, number one, make sure you're doing it on the inside of the door, not the outside. Don't scratch up the outside of the panel, and only scratch up as much area as you need to get the sticker on. Don't like sand off the entire inner side of the door. You know, just say that sticker's 2 or 3 inches wide, so just sand off a couple inches. That's all it needs to stick on. But that does work really well. That was a really good point, Ram.
Yeah, just be careful what you're doing with somebody else's equipment. You know, I know a lot of times people would write all over. Make sure you get permission, because the last thing we need is somebody say, "Well, you wrote all over this door. I need a brand new door now."
Yeah, that's true. Also, as far as the monitoring information and the account number, that still we are still putting that on the door or somewhere in the panel, legible, correct?
To my knowledge, we haven't changed how we're doing that. That would be a really great thing for a sticker, if we find a sticker with a good stick on, to have forms or little lines for that to fill it out.
Yeah, I would say that anything you do to that panel, you should have their permission to do it before you do it.
Gotcha.
Great information, Keith. Thank you.
Yeah, thank y'all. I love all the conversation afterwards. This was really good. All right, well, if there are no more
Hello.
questions.
Quick.
Oh, hey, Amara. How's it going?
Oh, hey, how you doing? Quick question. I was gonna see. Who do I need to get with to get my stickers? I have no installation, inspection, service, or any of them.
We have them here at the shop. Terrence can bring it to you, but he says it's going to cost you.
Okay. Tell him I got them.
All right.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, hold on, one more thing before
Okay.
we all go. And this was brought up to me yesterday when I was with a person doing an inspection sticker. So, what's on a new install? What stickers goes on the panel? And if you're just installing something else in the building, just say like another floor of or something like that, another build out, what stickers goes on there?
So I think, a brand new panel, you're going to get the new install sticker, and you're going to get the blue inspection sticker.
Okay.
When you're adding to the system or modifying the system, I believe at that point it becomes a service sticker.
Okay, yeah, that was told to me. I just wasn't 100% sure.
That's how I've always done it, and that's how I've assumed it, and I've never had anyone complain about doing it that way. Um, I asked a fire marshal one time, and he just kind of shrugged and said, "I don't know. You're the fire alarm tech. You're supposed to know that."
Damn.
Yeah. And I said, "Well, yes, sir. I was just trying to verify," and he was okay and shrugged it off. So that's
Hey,
how I've always done it. I've used the service sticker for lease build outs and additions or modifications.
good information.
All right.
Oh, hold on. Are you gonna do another class as far as on the stickers, or
I
is
wasn't
this
planning
all
on it.
okay? But okay, then when do you put a yellow sticker and a red sticker?
Oh, you know what? That's really good. Okay, so a yellow sticker is for an impairment where when something's not working in the building, but overall the fire alarm is still working. So maybe you've got some bad devices, like a couple strobes that didn't go off or something. But overall the fire alarm system still functions. There's just problems. A red sticker is when it ain't working at all. Like that crap is broken. The panel took a lightning hit, wires got cut, like nothing's doing anything anymore. The system is not functional. That's a red
So,
sticker.
so if the phone lines were down, is that a red sticker?
That's a good question, and I don't know off the top of my head, and it looks like Colin already jumped out.
Well, then, all right. I'm just asking, man. That's all.
As long as you're tagging it with a red or yellow sticker, and we're going through all the proper steps to get it fixed and everything, the fire marshal's not going to get too mad because we're tagging it, we're trying to get it repaired, we're reporting it properly, all that kind of stuff. By the way, if you're putting a red or yellow sticker on something, you need to let Colin know before you leave the building. And you also need to make sure the owner or owner's representative knows before you leave the building. You don't just
Good,
put a red or yellow sticker on a panel and walk away without telling anyone. That's not the right way to do it. Make sure people know that it's getting a red or yellow tag. And I think honestly, for something like phone lines, where it's kind of in that gray area, as long as you're tagging it and you're reporting it, I don't think anyone's going to get mad at you if you technically get it a little wrong on which sticker you put on there. It's more important that it's reported and gets fixed than anything else.
good point.
Well, I'll also have y'all here listening. If y'all have any other topics you'd like to go over, things you're not sure about, things people ask you about, but you don't really know the answers to, or just whatever, let me know. I really want these trainings to help everyone as much as possible. So if there's something that you might not know, there's probably other people that don't know it either, and that way we can make sure the information is as helpful as can be. And I mean, you can call me or text me, email me, however you want to get that to me. I'm open to ideas. I'm open to suggestions. And that's all I've got. So if y'all don't have any more questions, you're free to go. Thanks for being here, and stay dry and safe.